Hello and welcome to another video from SDM for MMTV and our YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be about different methods for organizing your thoughts. So it's a bit broad, but generally speaking, we're going to be looking at two different softwares, of which there are many other types that are similar, that allow you to take notes and or gather information in various different formats, all compiled in one place. Basically taking a bunch of thoughts about something that are jumbled all over and organizing them. It's one way to look at it. Another way is that you are able to, do project management, things like that, all in one central location. So let's talk about an example, which we can call example presentation. That is what we will call our project here. So the program that I just changed that in is Freeform. So I'm on a Mac computer, so it comes with Freeform by default, and it's also on iPhones and iPads. And it is, as it suggests, a very freeform and very versatile piece of software that allows you to do all sorts of note-taking and organization of different bits of information. So let's start off by adding a text box. All right, let's see. Go ahead and say presentation slide. We'll just say presentation slides. All right, I'm going to make that much bigger. And some things I'm going to be glossing over because they should either be known from other softwares, or you'd be able to find this information elsewhere, like what these symbols, like what these little dots mean, etc. Or how to change the text size and stuff like that, how I had to highlight it. Those little details we'll be glossing over. You'd be able to find details about things like that in other videos, as well as if you wanted to set up an appointment at SDM, we'd be able to go over these things individually at your own pace, but for the sake of this video, we're going to be skipping some things like that. So now that we've shown Freeform a little bit, well, actually, why don't I show a little bit more? First, let's throw in a couple sticky notes and then type something on them. So let's say slide 2, slide 1. Let's say we're going to do slides in our presentation, right? And it doesn't look like I'll be able to raise that, at least not easily. So we'll just leave that as is. Let's see. But we can add a little bit of context. So how about intro, main points, and just for the sake of it, let's come up with an example topic. How about going global with oranges? So pretend we're a company that sells oranges, and we're making a presentation about how going global with our sales, instead of just, let's say in the U.S., some Florida orange company wants to start selling outside of the U.S. So just something concrete to give us an easier way to present examples and potential uses of these softwares. So that is a little bit about Freeform, and we will absolutely come back to it. But let's introduce our other program here, Microsoft OneNote. This is something that you can use for free at office.com with a Microsoft account, or if you have any of the Office suite software, this is part of it, like Office 365, Microsoft OneNote comes with it. So in the same way, why don't we go ahead and rename this first section presentation example, going global with oranges. Didn't like that at all, so it's a section. Let's do example presentation. And why don't we go ahead and rename the whole notebook, if I can do that. So might be able to. I could also just create a new notebook, but that's fine. Organizing thoughts demo, example presentation, and we'll call the page um, going global with oranges. I should probably switch those two actually. So that's what I'm going to do. We are going to call this going global with oranges. And then this will be example presentation. All right. So off the bat, this Microsoft OneNote might seem more text oriented, but both Freeform and OneNote are both capable of being, extremely visual, as well as having copious amounts of text. It's all up to however you want to set it up, and the freedom to really create any sort of display for information. So let's go ahead and recreate the first little bit that we have in Freeform of our slides. So one way to go about that would be to use this page to just do lots of stuff, or we could say, here's a new page, and we'll just dedicate this whole thing to slide 1, right? And I'll even say slide 1, intro. Let's give a little synopsis, introduction to the first slide. Oops, introduction to the presentation on how going global will increase profit. Something like that. Obviously a bit redundant, but you get the idea. So now I have this text box, which I can move around as I see fit, and all I had to do was just start typing to get that text box. Also able to quickly highlight, as well as manipulate this box in various different ways. But let's say that we want to do something with some visuals. So let's say we already had a picture of it. We could insert a picture, right? Or if we had something pulled up that had a good layout for what we wanted to do, we could take a screenshot of it and put it in there. Might as well, let's just do that for fun, just because we can. So move this out of the way a bit. Say screenshot. We'll do a screen clipping. That didn't work the way I thought it would. Oops. Say screenshot. Second. Interesting. Okay. So I'm sure that we could do a screen clipping and take anything on the screen, but because I'm doing a screen recording, I don't think that's possible at the moment. But we can also just take a screenshot of our little OneNote window, and then that would be another object on this page, right? And so then I could mark on this slide some notes about it, right? So let's say that I'm going to use red, and we're going to have a pen. I'm going to make my line a little bit thicker, and we are now going to draw a little bit. So I'm going to say, in this corner, I'm going to designate something to that corner, okay? As well as, right here, I have an idea for something. This is going to be the focal point, and then also in the bottom right, I want something. So all very vague. You're going to do stuff there, right? So let's say that what I really want is to So now that I've designated these areas, what I can do is get back into text mode, click where I want to put the text. So let me just erase this little dot there. Back to text mode, and then I'm going to say, let's have a preview info for next slide. Not entirely sure why we would want to do that, but hey, I'm just sort of coming up with examples of stuff that you could do. Oops. Let's see if we can change the color of this text. We probably can. Yes, we can. On the Home tab, boom. So I can match the colors in that nature so that, if I want to color code things, then I can. So why don't I add more text? Say company logo. All right. And then actually, oops. Why don't I put that more over on the slide? Move this over. You know what? Let's make my circle, or awful circle, a little bit more accurate. Just showing you that you can manipulate things after the fact in various different ways. So now I can double click so that instead of moving the object, I can just put text within inside of it, or within it. So I am going to say that this is our focal point, which is probably a bit obvious and redundant, but that's not the point. So now what we're going to do is give this another little meaning as well. We'll do this one below, and we'll do the author of the slide, something like that. The person responsible for this bit of information, in case the people we're presenting to have a question immediately in the moment. All right, so why don't we go ahead and add a checklist over here for things that need to be done. Let's say make red changes. So that's one thing that needs to be done. Confirm blue. So that doesn't make any sense yet. That's okay. And then how about blued? Confirm blue information. Let's just stick with these for now. Something I already did. How about this? Make OneNote file. Make OneNote notebook. So that one we can then click on and have already done here. Let's see if I can move that up to the top of the list so it makes a bit more sense. And correct OneNote to be properly capitalized like it wants to be. So that is one thing that I've done. We haven't made the red changes. Yep, so like here's our slide so far, and I want these changes made in red. So confirm blue. I did that a bit preemptively because I have an idea for what I can do with blue. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller and put facts, okay? And I could have typed that, but you get the idea. So I've got some facts here, and I want those to be confirmed. All right, so then I could do all sorts of things. As you can probably tell, there's all sorts of ways to go about doing this. So why don't I insert, let's see, an arrow. We'll change the line color to orange. And I'm going to type swipe left. Ugh, that's right. Swipe right transition. As an example of the type of transition I want to the next slide, because next we can say new page, slide 2, key points. All right. And then here, why don't we pretend like we are starting from scratch with this slide instead of editing one that sort of already exists. So we can insert a shape. All right. Then we'll make it thicker, give it black outline. All right. Now let's actually stick with insert. And then we will make some more shapes. So let's do this. So we'll keep a blue box there. We will do, oops. I didn't think that would be upside down, but that's okay. Because I can rotate it. And then change its size. And then how about we do an oval? Okay, so I've got 3 shapes there. And I'm going to make a couple more. So this one we can change the color of. We'll do this one as red. And then how about a red triangle as well? And well, let's do this. All right. And we'll give this a unique color, purple. Let's just make that a bit thicker so you can tell that it's purple. All right, so now what I can do is a whole bunch of stuff. But why don't we first do this. Say previous slide title / summary. We can put this over here, or we can say that we're going to keep this clean of text for now and treat it as a layout. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and change the color to blue, although it's slightly different color blue, not too worried about it, so that I can match these things together. And I could just make the shapes as well right next to them, or I can say, and then why don't we stick in the same box and say rectangle, title, and then oval can be preview of next slide. All right. So I'm also going to copy that and then paste it here. Change its color to red and get rid of oval. And let's see, so the triangle in this case, if we stick with the theme, how about author of page or slide? And then the rectangle is going to be key points. And persuasive persuasive ideas. Why not? Okay, so now we just have the purple rhombus or diamond. So I can just click down here, say purple. Diamond. And we'll have that be a GIF, one of those moving pictures, basically a very short little looped video. Change this color to purple, and then now I have things color coordinated. I could also use the shapes to determine something, like, let's see, why don't I do this? Triangles, minimal text, 0.18 font Times New Roman. And then I can always move where I have this stuff, but we'll leave it there and go across. Rectangles. Bold. Bold. And Comic Sans. Don't judge me on the reality of what this might actually look like. And oval slash diamond. Actually, the diamond is going to be a GIF or GIF, so it doesn't need, information about the type of text. So oval, let's say we'll keep it Calibri and white text, black background, 16 point. So definitely could have done more to make that more organized, but you get the idea. So this is just a real quick example of what's possible. We can also have no. All right, looks like I have to turn that on real quick. Let me just go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm not going to right now because it is a bit more involved than I thought. And that could also have to do with the fact that I'm using the microphone to record this video. But we could have dictated things. We can mark things besides just using a to-do list like we did in the first intro. We can say something's important. We've got a question on this. All sorts of different things. Creating a new tag for something. Obviously, we can attach a file to this if this is an actual slide, right? Instead of just the picture of it, we could do a link to the file. Although inserting right now, there we go. Seems to be a little weird. I feel like that should have brought up a prompt for me to choose a file to insert. It's not doing that at the moment. That's okay. We can change things like, I'd like to change the background of that. I like that a lot. Nice. As well as change the type of paper we have. So if we wanted to do a new page, and let's say that we call this notes, which is a stupid thing to call it at the moment. I don't care because this isn't real. So now I can go back to view, change the paper style. How about we make this one classic notebook paper. And then we could make this fit the paper better. And then we can just go ahead and type away. And then probably have to do a bit more monkeying around with the layout of this to make it fit on the page just as notes. But anyways, you get the idea. Because there's no rule about what you have to do with any of this. You can just do whatever you want. It's all about the possibilities. So let's switch back over to Freeform to see some more of what Freeform can do. And we'll keep the same type of project in mind, right? So one thing that you might have noticed about OneNote applies to Freeform as well, which is like you sort of have infinite space to work with, right? So let's say that I wanted to make a bunch of duplicates. Oops, you know what? I'll undo all of that. So I'm going to say this becomes a group. And then I'm going to say, hey, let's duplicate that group, duplicate that group, duplicate this group, right? Now I've got these in 4 different locations. And then I can zoom back in and go and find those. But let's do 50%. There we go. We found one. So what's that? The bottom right, top right. Cool. So let's say that now I can ungroup these so they're individual pieces again. Just makes it easier to duplicate them when they're a group, because if I duplicate them like this, If I move it, we're okay. But let's say instead I accidentally clicked one, or basically deselected them, they're all unique pieces. All right. So one reason why you might do this is, let's say you have 4 different ideas for the type of slide you might want to do, right? So let's go ahead and get a bit simplistic with our examples. So we're going to say that we are going to go with science here for our main point. And our intro is going to be an orange. If I can easily identify it. I don't think we got one. This is the closest, but that looks maybe more like a tomato. It will tell me, obviously. All right, so we're going to do a lime, or a lemon, or a lime, just because it doesn't make sense. So we could say, the intro theme is going to be revolved around a lime. And the main points we're going to use are going to be focused on science. And let's say we want to, connect these things, then we can. And so now, even if I move around, these are still connected. All right? So someone said, hey, that's not enough fruit for your example. You need to add more fruit for your example. Where's the apples? Apples are delicious. So we add an apple, and then we link to the apple too. Right? And then we can go to the top right, ungroup these, spread it out a bit, and let's say that for this next one, they really want to get people thinking about oranges by showing them the sun. All right? And just for the sake of showing you what we can do, let's change the color of the sun there to yellow. Go ahead and connect that. And then let's decide what the main persuasive points are going to be tied to. They're going to be tied to people. All right? So it's going to be baby. Oops, don't need the sticky note. All right. Got 3 different people here. All right. And those 3 things are different people. So the main points are that, people love oranges or whatever it may be. All right. So as you can see, there is quite a lot that you can do with projects like, or with programs like these when it comes to dealing with a certain project. So I just scaled it to fit everything, and then we can get a wide overview of our whole work area. But then if I wanted to, we could zoom in on a specific area, which would be a lot easier if I was using a mouse I liked. All right, so could then ungroup this, do the same, or we could just do something completely different. Like let's say we get to roughly the middle, and we want to have a text box. And we're going to make it a giant text box, text, just because we're very zoomed out, so a giant text box is sort of what we need. And then, we could put whatever we want there. And we could connect these to things as well if we wanted to by drawing the arrows out. And if we draw an arrow out and it doesn't go to something else, we can then add an object. Okay? So let's go ahead and put something down. Here we go. This is where you write the notes. Follow the note button. So there are numerous things that you can do with this software. And I'm just quickly seeing if there's, so this would be inserting. Probably have a similar problem in terms of the ability to insert while I'm recording, but you're able to input things from your device as well as devices that are connected to this one, since it's on an Apple machine. Other Apple machines that we have with the same account are also able to send documents right to freeform from those devices, or on this device we can take photos, documents, sketches, or freeform boards and bring them in. And so this would be for local documents. So this would be specifically for photos, videos, or links. This would be just local documents. And when you do photos, videos, or links, you can also grab things from other devices, even documents, because in that case it scans it, which is really just taking a photo. So let's see. That's potentially all we have time for today. So if you think that this is the type of thing that you might like to get more use out of, if you come in with a specific idea or project, we could brainstorm some ways that you could use this software to encapsulate what you're really trying to do in the best way possible. And software like this is only going to get better and better because it's taking things you might already be familiar with, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, handwritten notes, and really combining them in one place, allowing you to do all of it and see all of it at once, or focus on it, get narrowed down to one specific point. Yeah, we'd be happy to do that. And thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next Tech Talks. Thanks. Bye.